Hey guys, good morning. It's Drew here. Today in this blog, I wanted to talk about the meaning of Make America Great Again. I think it's very important to define this slogan because a lot of people have misinterpreted it or have perverted it to mean something that it does not mean. So I would like to define Make America Great Again for the audience that's watching and, just for the internet in general. If you want people to understand what this means, feel free to share this video with as many people as you like. All right. So let's go into, where America was and where it is today, globally and as well as, domestically. Okay. There was a period of time in this country where, different races, we didn't have the perfect relationship. There wasn't a perfect relationship, but a lot of the racism issues and divisive issues of the past had simmered. We didn't even think about it. When you hired somebody, you didn't think about their racial background. You didn't think that maybe they were part of some kind of activist group that is anti-American. When you were meeting somebody for the first time, you were willing to drop all these cultural stereotypes. And I'm not saying for everybody, and I'm not saying in every place. I'm saying, for what I would see as a majority of people, there was not, I would say maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago, even 4 years ago, there was not this much racial tension and divisive culture among people who are of different sexual orientation, different genders, different races, and so forth. It has recently intensified. That is a fact, okay? It's recently intensified. We can go into the reasons why, okay? Now, also, the next question is, where were we globally years ago? I'm talking about, during Bush, before Bush, I'm talking about those times. Where were we globally? Well, we were a global leader. We were a productive economy. We were threatening, and other countries respected our leaders. Other countries feared our leaders. Other countries did not want to incur the wrath of the American military, and they still don't to this day a little bit, but for the most part, we were respected. Countries were not moving to exclude us from global trade. We were productive. We produced things. We made things. We were proud to be Americans. We were proud to be from this country. We didn't start looking at other countries and saying, how could we be like them? Oh, look, they do this. Why don't we do that? We were leaders. People followed us. People wanted to come here to pursue the American dream. I don't hear anybody saying, I want to pursue the European dream. I want to pursue this dream. It was the American dream. That was the standard. People wanted to pursue what we had. People loved and people wanted American excess. We were a beacon of power, freedom, and liberty around the world. That's what the American, background was all about. Fast forward to today, our own country has divisiveness inside the country, and then outside the country, leaders from different countries like Iran, Mexico, China, all these nations that Donald Trump mentions, they don't respect our leaders. They understand that we have weak leadership. They understand that we have leaders who are willing to do politically correct things at the expense of their own country. They also understand very well that our leaders are being paid off by multi-billionaires who see themselves as world citizens instead of U.S. citizens. They're being paid off by multi-billionaires to protect interests that are largely anti-American. And I'll tell you why some of these billionaires are doing that. I know why they're doing that. Because America is largely a global investment that has reached peak value. So now they're trying to recoup profit or gain or benefit on the downside. They want America to downsize, and then simultaneously they'll invest in other developing countries and reap benefit and get benefit from that. See, when you're a global citizen, you have that luxury. But when you're a U.S. citizen and you're invested here and you can't go anywhere else, or you don't see yourself living anywhere else, or this is where you've made your life, your family, your friends, you want this country to get better, or you should logically. Now, because some of America's billionaires and the elite class of the establishment, which, you know, Donald Trump is elite money-wise, but he's not in this establishment class that wants to destroy America. Now, because they want to destroy America and they control the media, they've pushed a narrative. They push any narrative that is anti-American or that would leave America open to vulnerabilities that would eventually bring down the country. Open borders or porous borders where people could just pour over or just come in. Lax immigration laws where we don't enforce the immigration law. Taking guns away from citizens. Trivializing free speech. There's so many different things that have been done lately to undermine the greatness that was America. Okay? So when Donald Trump says, "Make America Great Again," he's calling for a return to the values that made America supreme. And believe it or not, and like it or not, of course it's the fact that this country promotes diversity. This country promotes diversity. Legal immigration, coming here and following the law. And it promotes freedom. But the interpretation of these things is changing because the billionaires are paying media outlets and different groups to distort the message. So, minority groups and, little sectors of them who have kind of felt oppressed and kind of felt sour about America's history have used this as an opportunity to unleash all the ugly things about the United States. But what those minority groups don't understand is that they probably have it best in the United States. They wouldn't have it best in Cuba. They wouldn't have it best in Europe. They probably have it best in the United States. You see, recently Obama went to Cuba, and it's like a lot of people are looking to Cuba. Oh, that's such a great place. You know what the GDP per capita there is? Meaning wealth per citizen? That's like 6,000. You know what it is in the United States? About 51, 52,000. The GDP per capita will tell you the quality of life you can expect to live on average if you go to that country. So if you look at countries like Monaco, Luxembourg, they have higher GDP per capita. And that's why I cite that, because it's tied to the misery index. These are economic indicators of the life you can expect to lead if you go to these countries. Okay? So when Donald Trump is saying "Make America Great Again," he wants us to go back to being a productive nation that respects freedom of speech, that respects our Second Amendment, that is a global trade leader, and that is the deal maker at the table, or the dominant player at the table, not a nation that takes a back seat to other countries, because that's what we've become. So we can either go one of two ways. If you elect Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, we're going to go the way where they make you feel like they're doing things for you, but overall the pie of the American pie, the gross domestic product, the GDP, I guarantee you will start decreasing and start shrinking. So basically, you'll be getting pieces of a smaller pie. Whereas Donald Trump wants to expand the pie perpetually. And that expansion may come at the expense of other nations. But if you're an American citizen, and if you have some kind of logic to you and you understand the way the world works, you know for sure that the U.S. cannot continue to consume 75% of the world's resources at the expense of other nations without other nations feeling some kind of way. But those other nations want to be where we are. And trust me, as a U.S. citizen, you would rather have your country be strong and wealthy and powerful than your country be weak for the sake of being politically correct or nice or polite. They say all is fair in love and war. Well, if you love your country and your country is at war, I think it's fair to be a little pragmatic here. Because let's be honest, this is where you raise your family, this is where your life is. So if the American pie, if that GDP shrinks to the point where you can't provide for your family, you have yourself to blame for backing the wrong candidates and not standing up to the people who are trying to suck this country dry. That's what it means to make America great again. And that's what Trump means. It's got nothing to do with race. It's got nothing to do with division or hate. It's got to do with putting America back in the #1 spot so you, as an investor in the American economy, as a citizen here, can prosper the way maybe your immigrant ancestors or your ancestors before came here to prosper. We're trying to conserve the greatness that it is America. That's what it is. It's not perfect, but it's a great place. And that's what it means to make America great again. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm still supporting Donald Trump 2016. Make America great again. Peace.